All right, so in this one, I want to go over Bitcoin's price action inside this local range, go over some of my key levels, and see if we can't make some trading plans. So overall, on Bitcoin, I am feeling bullish right now. This weekly market structure break that we got a few weeks ago is a very significant thing. And weekly market cipher is looking very bullish as well. Money flow has been increasing steadily, getting very close to crossing into the green. The momentum wave is now approaching the 60 line. It looks like it actually just tapped it. So momentum is looking to push above the 60 line. That is a sign of strength as well. So overall, I am leaning more bullish just based off of Bitcoin's weekly time frame. But I have been saying that some of the lower time frames, well, relative to the weekly, so like the daily, the 12-hour, and then looking at some of the medium-term time frames as well, like the 4-hour to the 1-hour, it seems like things are starting to slow down. We are seeing signs of weakness in this uptrend, and by that I mean momentum and money flow have been decreasing, getting lower as price is putting in higher highs. And even though I'm feeling bullish on the higher time frames, it doesn't mean we can't range or get retracements on the medium term time frames. And maybe we do end up retracing to some key levels. Maybe we end up back testing 25K. Maybe we end up coming lower, maybe looking for support somewhere else. Truthfully, I do not know what price is going to do, but for the time being, we are simply ranging. And so other than my key support levels that I have in mind elsewhere, right now, all I can really focus on is the range that we were in. And looking at this range right now, we recently did get a move up to the highs of the range. We came outside the value area high, and we did see some divergences up there. On the 1-hour, we saw divergence with momentum. On the 24 minutes, we saw momentum and money flow diverging from price. And oftentimes, when you see divergences at the highs of the range, you can then expect to move down to the lows of the range. The divergences are showing that price was unsustainable at the highs of the range, being priced at the highs of the range. And, that typically means that price needs to get a move down to the lows of the range to sort of balance out. And you see this kind of thing all the time. I mean, you can just put horizontal lines at the lows and the highs of price action as well, and see that every time price comes up to these price levels, it is considered overpriced, and there's usually a correction back down to the lows of the range. We saw that multiple times inside this range, and right now it seems like price is fighting with the point of control of the range. If we lose that, then that is a little bit more confluence to say that we are probably coming down to the lows of the range. And so the first thing that I am wondering is, what are my support levels going to be inside this range? And right now, we do have a golden pocket and 786 area around the value area low. And another thing I notice is we have this zone right here where we had one candle basically fly up through this zone of price action. It was pretty inefficient price action, and as you know, a lot of times if you begin to fill those areas of inefficient price action, you can fill them very quickly. It can be a very fast and a very smooth move. And this is also a zone of single prints, which you don't really need an indicator to know that. You can go to the 30-minute time frame and see that there is one 30-minute candle inside this zone of price during this day. So, once this day started, which the daily candle prints right there. So, this zone only had one 30-minute candle inside of it during this day. And so, if you turn on the TPO indicator, you can see that this is a zone of single prints. So, in theory, we could come down to fill this zone very quickly. Now, another interesting thing is at the bottom of those single prints, we have a 1-hour order block. So if I go to the 1-hour time frame and zoom in right over here, you can see that purple candle before the next blue candle that came up and broke structure. And not only is this lining up pretty well with the bottom of the single prints, so maybe we can see price come down, fill those single prints, and then tap off of that order block, maybe get a reaction from there. We know that also price likes to react from the space that the single prints fill at. So basically, once the single prints fill, oftentimes price likes to bounce from that level or reject if their resistance. So you could look at that as a potential trade idea, and if we see a nice reaction there, maybe that could make for a little scalp. If I were to take this trade, I would probably want to lock it in pretty quickly. Stop loss to entry as quick as I can, because I do think there are some more key supports below us. And I'm sure you can move this fib to a different low and get a golden pocket to line up there. So taking it from that low, that looks pretty nice. The 618 lines up right there as well. So this could be an idea. I might set an alert there. Below that 1 hour order block, we do have another order block on the 4 hour time frame. And this one isn't as clean because, we did have blue candle, purple, blue, but this blue candle after the purple candle did not come up to break structure. We didn't break this high until the candle after it. Now, I'm, again, no expert in order blocks. I don't know if this would make this a weaker order block or, if it's not a valid one at all. I think it still is, because even though we didn't break structure in the next candle, we still did come up to break structure before we came down to break lows. Again, I'm still learning order blocks, but you could still say that this was an area of lots of trading. There was lots of sell orders in this area as well as buy orders, obviously, because price got pushed up very heavily afterwards. And this order block does have a very nice confluence with the golden pocket, with the value area low. Even the 786, the 786 is right below it. So I do like this area as well, and this is kind of overlapping with the 1 hour order block as well. Right now we kind of have a zone of support down here, you could say, and this zone actually gets a little bigger because we also have a 6 hour order block overlapping with the 4 hour. So the 6 hour order block, in my opinion, is looking better because we had blue, purple, blue, and then this one came up to break structure. This does look a little better because we really have a zone of support down here. And for that, I would probably look to specific levels inside of this zone, like the golden pocket, like the value area low, like the 786. And really just depending on the confirmations that we see, any of these levels could make for decent trades. And the value area low is a pretty nice support resistance flip. So that is some extra confluence. We had a nice wick of resistance right there, plenty of support on it. So yeah, in terms of scalp ideas, I'd probably be watching those 3 levels. Also the 786, if we come down below the value area low, that could also make for a decent scalp. Also considering we have a wick right here that we could grab liquidity from. Maybe we could trade this as an SFP. So, there's another potential idea. And then I would also be looking at the lows. We could take out that wick, potentially SFP that. That is another idea, which I had marked out from all the way back there. But yeah, really just looking for some scalp ideas for if we see good confirmations as we come down to these levels. And other than that, key support is going to be around that 25K area. Doesn't mean that we have to get a good trade from there. Maybe we just slice through there, but this is going to be key support in my opinion. So for short ideas, well, we did technically just SFP this low, meaning that we might come up and hunt this high, the high that created the move. So this, automatically is an area of interest, and that is an area I was watching as well for a potential SFP. So right now, that's probably my first short idea, I'd say. And we could technically look for 2 things as we come up here in terms of order flow. We could look for a lot of trades getting stopped out up here, or we can look for a lot of people longing into this resistance and look for some potential absorption. So let's actually go over to Coinalyze and see if one of those 2 is a more probable scenario. And we did see shorts open up right around this high. We saw shorts open up here, so I'm sure there are stop losses up there. And honestly, I think I would rather trade this as an SFP, just considering how high I would have to set my stop loss if I were trading absorption here. I would have to put my stop above the high in order to be safe. That's a 1.4% move. And I mean, risk reward could still be good from there if I'm targeting some pretty low levels. You know, you could definitely still get good risk reward from that. But I might look to trade this as an SFP if we see a decrease of open interest as we take out that high, and then maybe try and lock it in quicker. You could also take the volume of this little range that we have right here and maybe try and trade some volume levels in here. The value area high, is a potential idea. However, there seems to be, just from looking at price action, some stop losses here. I would assume above this high and above this high. So, I probably wouldn't look to trade the value area high because there's a good chance we just come up and take out those highs. So I'd say right now, the two shorts that I see that I would be interested in are that first one I talked about and maybe an SFP of these highs. Again, if we see a large decrease of open interest, if we see confirmations for an SFP, then that could be a good trade as well. Now, if we see something like absorption, maybe into like VWAP or something, some reason I would want to take a short scalp, I probably will take that as well, just because I want to kind of hedge short at the moment. Right now the only trade I have is a long, and we did technically see confirmation that price is unsustainable at the value area high of this current range, and so it probably will end up getting a move down to the value area low. So for me, it makes sense to try and hedge with a short at the moment. So if I see a scalp opportunity, I probably will end up taking it. And then still, I'm watching this untapped weekly up at 29,870-ish. And yeah, right now I think that is about it for my trading plans.